Welcome back to Go Work Radio here on KZSB 1290 AM. I'm Catherine Raymond.
And I'm Jay Walker-Wood.
And we're a show all about the modern entrepreneur. Each week we get an opportunity to interview two company founders.
And this week we have with us in the studio Mark Gustafson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
That's
He's the
perfect.
co-founder of Story Bicycles, and he has also brought a bicycle with him. It's an electric bike, which also this company has a real mission, because every Story bike they sell, they give a bike to third world country. Is that correct? Now,
That is correct.
How is your bike, and it's an electric bike, how is it different than other electric bikes?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me on behalf of myself and my partners, Jason Lamb and Matt Soares. But what differentiates our electric bike from other electric bikes, besides the giving back aspect, is, first of all, we wanted to go out and design a bike that didn't look like an electric bike. I originally started the company because I wanted to get back into cycling. I used to be a competitive cyclist growing up here in Santa Barbara. And when I started shopping around, all the bikes were really expensive and really looked like an electric bike and nothing that I would want to ride around.
So I don't want to be tacky, but how much does this bike cost? I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so the one we have here is our step-through model, which is kind of our more cruiser, get-around-town bike. The handlebars are really modular, so anyone from 4'10" to 6'6" could ride this frame. We do, and our other models have different size frames. And this one right now, we did a Kickstarter campaign that closed about a month ago, and we're still honoring the 50% off Kickstarter price that we did. So right now, the one in here is $1,200.
And that is about half of what a regular electric bike is. Isn't that right?
Definitely.
I mean, yeah.
Most electric bikes are in the $3,000-$4,000 range. And as far as specs on this, our specs are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the other electric bikes comparable.
Can I still get one on Kickstarter, or did I miss out?
You missed out on Kickstarter, but we're still selling them on our website, and we're honoring the Kickstarter price.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you. You were at UCSB along with your partners on this particular project. Were you a business major at the time? I know you were into cycling yourself.
Yeah,
but
we all went to UCSB together. We graduated almost 10 years ago now. And as far as the business major, no, I wasn't. I played rugby at UCSB after being a competitive cyclist. And we both kind of went our separate ways as career-wise goes. And the other two partners have been in sales. And myself, I've been a firefighter the last few years. But I've always been engineering. I've always had some of my own products. I own a couple other patents, as long as this one's patent pending. And I've had some e-commerce experience as well, and always been really entrepreneurial.
Is it true the idea came to you because you've done so much biking, and then you got on a bike and said, "I'm not physically what I used to." No, I
He
heard
looks to me like he's in great shape.
Well, that's
am I allowed to say that, or am I harassing the guest?
Well, it's not so much
I apologize.
So I used to race. I was on the local development team here, and then raced as semi-pro, and then I wanted to start riding a bike again. And it wasn't so much that I wasn't physically fit. I wanted to go farther. I wanted to go up that big hill that maybe I didn't want to go up on that ride. Or if I was just using it for transportation, let's say, for commuting to work, you don't want to break a sweat on your way to work. It's all pedal assist. So if you want to ride it like a regular bike, turn the motor off, you could do that. There's 6 different levels. You could put it on the highest level. You're barely going to pedal at all, and the bike's going to do 90% of the work. So if you want to use it for fitness, commuting to work, or just, you normally ride on a bike and you want to go on the farther ride, or that ride that has a big hill, or it's a windy day like today, you don't want to have to worry about the wind slowing you down. You have that option with the motor.
I would be a little worried that somebody's going to steal my bike.
Yeah. So one good part is our price point is significantly lower than everybody else. 2, nobody knows these are electric bikes. As our brand grows, people hopefully will recognize it.
Yeah, I thought it was a regular bike when it came over.
Yeah, so we ride. We're all now located down in the Santa Monica area, and we'll ride our bikes. We have our kind of single-speed road bike versions that we ride, and we'll ride them down to the gym and park them outside. No, people always ask, "Oh, that's a cool-looking bike." Never do they ever think it's an electric bike. And then we get on it, we take off, and they're just amazed.
It's great to see the finished product here, but I'm
Yeah.
sure as a business person in developing this, there are many different prototypes.
Yes.
How far is this from your original prototype?
It's a ways. So we had our first prototype about a year ago when we started, and we've been working directly with our manufacturers. We spent some time with them in the factory, really tweaking everything that we wanted to get it as streamlined as possible. So no bugs. We have the highest watt motor that we can have. It's capped out. There's actually laws on electric bikes, so everything's maxed out to what the laws are in California and the rest of the United States.
Where is the motor? I'm looking at it and I don't see a motor.
Exactly. So
I'm a little nervous about taking this up a hill.
Yeah, so the motor is in the rear hub there, and this is a new company we're working with, and so it's all internal. So that hub motor, a lot of the old electric bikes, or even a lot of the ones that are still on the market and sell for much more than this, their rear hub motors are much larger. Once you've seen an electric bike, you'll know it's an electric bike. This one's just as powerful, waterproof, so if it rains or you don't have to worry, you can totally ride this bike in the rain. And it's all in that small hub. So unless you know our bikes, you would never know this is an
And I
electric
have
bike.
to say that the leather is gorgeous.
It
and
is.
I read these are custom-built seats from a Santa Barbara company called Parker Leather.
Yeah, so these ones are not the ones that are going to be on there, but we've partnered with Parker Clay, which is literally 2 blocks down the street from here, right across from the courthouse. And they reached out to us, and they have these really great leather goods, leather bags, and they have a tie to Africa as well. All their bags are made in Ethiopia, and they have a whole philanthropic purpose of building economic development in that country. So we've partnered up, and they're going to be building our leather grips and leather seats, and we're actually working on a few other accessories.
And
with
why
them as well.
did you include philanthropic as part of your? Is it a business decision or personal
it was,
or both?
It started actually with that. So I spent some time in Kenya after graduating UCSB. I had some friends that I played rugby with that actually lived there. So I went to visit them, and his sister was actually really involved with this wheelchair mission. And so there was all these people that need a wheelchair over there that can't get around. It kind of really just changes their life getting in a wheelchair. So that kind of always sunk in with me, and was always trying to do something with them with that. And then when my partner Jason came to me about a year ago, and we started thinking about the bikes, and I told him about the bikes, and I still was thinking about, I've always wanted to do something with this wheelchair mission, but that's kind of a really small market, and as big as we want to go with the bikes. So we thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to do a bike for bike? And sure, I talked to my friends over there, huge need for bikes, kids getting to school, healthcare workers getting around town, entrepreneurs trying to get their products to market. And so at first we were going to do it ourselves, and then we found World Bicycle Relief, who's been doing this. They've donated over 350,000 bikes in the history of their foundation. And so we partnered with them. And so for every bike sold, we donate a bike to World Bike Relief. We've already donated our first 80. And we are planning, we have it booked to go with them on their next trip over in Africa to actually deliver the bikes to the people that are getting, which kind of is the root of the name. So Story Bikes is you're creating a new story for yourself, but more importantly, you're creating a story for somebody else on the other side of the world. And we're actually, once that bike is donated, you'll find out exactly who it went to. So you'll have it full
so we can
circle.
follow them. That's a fantastic
Yeah.
idea.
The company is Story Bicycles. Mark
Correct.
Gustafson is in studio with us, and I love the idea of this third world country because a bike for us, it represents sort of leisure and activity. For them, that would be their way to actually get from place A to B, and actually could make a difference in their livelihood, which is incredible. I want to get back just a little bit to Kickstarter, just
Definitely.
because I'm curious about it. Of course, Kickstarter was huge about 5-6 years ago, and it works for some, doesn't work for others. Why did you pick Kickstarter, and would you credit it with your success or part of the success?
Well, Kickstarter crowdfunding in general has definitely got a lot harder because I think a lot of people, including myself, have sponsored a lot of campaigns to only never get a product.
Right.
So one thing we wanted to do before we did it is we wanted to guarantee that you're sponsoring a product that's going to get delivered. And Kickstarter has done a lot more vetting these days to get approved, to get on it. And we've been wanting to bootstrap this the entire time ourselves. And so we figured, hey, I've always wanted to do a Kickstarter campaign. I've had a lot of other products and researched it for a while. So we figured this would be the first good start. And it went really well. It was a great way to just get some free advertising out there and get the word out worldwide. It was amazing how much exposure we had internationally. So we actually have customers, I want to say almost 12 different countries that sponsored our Kickstarter campaign.
Now, is Kickstarter still considered the primo? Because I've also heard of Indiegogo. And
we
others.
debated between the two for a while, and the reach of Kickstarter, getting on Kickstarter is substantially harder than getting on Indiegogo. Kickstarter has a much...
can you go through, what is the process of getting on there?
Yeah, so Kickstarter wants to you really have to have something that's completely unique. You can't just go put together any electric bike that you could, source on the internet and say it's a new company. We had to show we have a unique design that's patent pending, and that's what was able to get us on Kickstarter. Where Indiegogo, you can pretty much go on with any business idea, and they'll allow it.
You also have been here in Santa Barbara anyway. You ended up on the front of the Santa Barbara News Press, and you and your pals did a pop-up shop down by the beach.
Yep.
Is that something that's also been working out for you? Are you doing more of those?
Yeah.
And how do you see that working into your business model?
Definitely. So that was our very first one, and so we actually partnered with a marketing agency for our Kickstarter campaign. So that Kickstarter was purely digital. We didn't do any field marketing. We didn't reach out for any press. We just wanted to see strictly what we could get off of Facebook and social media. And so now that the Kickstarter is over, we've started to implement kind of our field marketing plan, our social influencer plan. So that was our first big event, had a great response. And, I was listening to your other podcast the other day about growth hacking. That's...
Oh, yes, John Greathouse.
Yeah, so that's been my philosophy on marketing. I mean, the traditional marketing is long out the window of how you do it. And even just Facebook ads and Instagram ads are getting outdated, and people don't really look at those anymore. So we've already partnered. We partnered up with a friend of mine, Kirsten Ely, who runs a blog in town, gets over 500,000 views a month. We just did a photo shoot with her and just doing these collaborations with other influencers.
Now, are we going to be able to buy
companies.
this bike at REI? I love REI.
So that's not our long-term plan.
No?
Our long-term plan is more to be in, for Parker Clay, for instance. We're giving them a bike pretty soon. It'll be in their store. We're going to brand it Parker Clay on the down tube and then keep Story Bikes kind of small on it. And so, one, their customer goes in, oh, that's a cool bike. But two, someone's like, hey, I want to test ride one of your bikes. And we'll be like, oh, where do you live? Oh, I live in Santa Barbara. Okay, you can go to Parker Clay in Santa Barbara. They have one of our bikes there to test ride.
Now, why is that a better mode to sell than going to REI in a traditional bike store?
Well, one, we eliminate the middleman, so we can keep the prices low. Because right now where the prices are at, we're basically making no profit. We just want to get the bikes out there under as many people as we can, because it's been really fun promoting. I've promoted other products in the past, and I haven't had one person this entire time look at it and have a negative comment, tell them the price, have a negative response. And the best part is I've never had anyone get on it and not be excited, thrilled, and totally unexpected of how fun it is.
Do I plug it in at the end of the day?
Yeah, you plug it in at the end of the day. You plug it in. It has a USB output, which is
a 110 or a 220?
Just a standard outlet works. Yeah, standard outlet works. Charges in just a few hours. So the range, you could easily ride it from Summerlin to UCSB and back on one charge. But if you did want to go a longer commute, you could always, a few hours, it'll fully charge. So if you go to work, if you commute farther than that. And so, yeah, you would just plug it in just like you would at the end of the day.
Speaking of plugging in, you also have a USB line so you can
Correct.
plug in your cell phone, although I'm sure you're not promoting using your cell phone while you're biking, but it's a great concept.
Yeah,
I don't know any
one
other
of our
bike that
newer
does that.
features.
Yeah.
We added, and definitely one of the biggest hits on there. So.
Is there any solar on the bike where you're grabbing solar from the brakes or anything?
Yeah, no
like that?
solar, or it's what they call regenerative braking. We definitely looked into that, and it's so minimal. It's not worth it. Yeah.
We're talking with Mark Gustafson. You can check out storybicycles.com. It's a beautiful website, by the
Thank
way.
you.
You mentioned, and also in the article as well, you're a firefighter by day as well. Mm-hmm. How is this, and final question for you, but how does this compare with your firefighting job, which is very not entrepreneurial? And do you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, well, they're totally different aspects in life. I love the side of being a firefighter and the brotherhood and times like this when we're having these fires and being there in a time of need. But the great part about it is you do have time to pursue your other goals. So I've been able to work on this while also being a firefighter, whether long-term that turns into being a more volunteer search and rescue, and this becomes more a full-time job or wherever it may be. That's still just a huge part of who I am. So.
All right. Hey, Mark, thanks for joining us.
Yes,
you can
thank you, Mark.
find out more, again, storybicycles.com, and you can also go to our website at coworkradio.com. Thanks for coming on.